Hey, how you doing? It's me, Will, here. This is Will's rant, and I'm going to continue another rant about Trump and his coup attempts. Um, anyway, I had a lot of thoughts about it, about what's happened in the last week, and I just feel like the media is not really covering what really happened. So let's talk about what really happened. What really happened was the fact that Trump attempted a coup attempt on that day, okay? It wasn't just, it was planned. He's a very savvy person. You know, he may act kind of stupid, but he's very savvy about what he's doing. And he knew exactly what he was doing. It was a plot, okay? Here's how I think it all went down, okay? So the illusion that he wanted to create was that, oh, I was just riling up my people and they got carried away. That's his cover story. That's his cover story. Here's what really happened. So I'm gonna tell you what I think the plot was, okay? Okay, so phase one was brainwash his followers with his lies that he won the election when he obviously lost it. And he uses some kind of psychological brainwashing technique or hypnotic technique. You know, if you study hypnotism, there's techniques. One is repetition. Okay, that's one. That's a known hypnotic technique. Another is association, you know. And so basically, he just repeats. And eventually you're like shocked, but eventually it starts to get in. And if you got a weak mind like a lot of Trump supporters have, then eventually you start to believe it because you don't know how to freaking think for yourself. Anyway, so he just lies straight out. He's been doing it for months. I mean, even before the election, way ahead. Oh, I'm going to win. If there's no way I can lose, you know, there's no way. And then when he lost, it's like, I didn't win. It just lies, lies, lies. These people that believe him have no sense of discernment. One group. Another group wants to believe it. They know it's a lie, but they don't care. And that's more the group I'm talking about. So that was step one. So then step two is, I'm telling you, it's going to come out that he was working. So first, weaken the security around the Capitol building, right? So he's got the Supreme Court kind of, I mean, not really, but, you know, it's a lot of his appointees. He's not worried about that. His only opposition really is the Democrats in the Capitol. Half of them are on his side. So you got the what do you call it? The executive branch fully on his side. Some of the Supreme Court, half of Congress on his side. So it's really just, you know, that one half of Congress that he has to worry about. So over time, he fired. I knew when he fired his defense secretary that was part of something. He doesn't do anything just to be doing it. People are like, oh, he's just mad. No, that was part of a concerted effort. I knew it, right? So basically, he fired a defense secretary so that he could weaken, and who knows, do what else, but for this operation, weaken the response and the security around the Capitol. The next thing he did was, and it's going to come out, is somewhere on the inside with the leadership of the Capitol Police or whatever other security is supposed to be involved with the Capitol. He, you know, someone on the inside. Okay, so here's the deal with the Capitol Police, right? Half of the security over there is probably sympathetic to him. That's not what I'm talking about. There was someone in the leadership that made a conscious decision. And this is backed up by other security experts who look at the situation and said someone obviously was on the inside and obviously weakened the security that day because any standard protocols for that situation would have had better security, right? So basically, you know, I don't know if it was a sergeant at arms. I don't know who it was. I don't understand their structure, but someone who was in charge of like making sure the place was secure and fully staffed that day purposely made sure it was the weakest they could possibly make it without being caught. That's going to come out. I mean, I don't know. Has he been having secret meetings somewhere? Probably. You know, maybe when he goes to the CPAC convention and these other places, like, hey, you know, I got a guy here in the security at the Capitol. We'll make sure that it's weak security on that day. You know, like this, right? It's going to come out, okay? We're going to talk about cover stories in a minute. So he's in charge of the executive branch. This is a problem in our government, but the executive branch is in charge of the National Guard and all this stuff. Because I heard a situation where basically they were calling for help. Congressmen's like hunkered down, afraid of what's going on outside, and they're asking for the National Guard, and they're like, we can't come because we don't have authority from the president. I mean, it's like something out of a movie, man. And this is all part of his plan. So weak security around the Capitol. Part 3 was, motivate his troops to march on the Capitol and cause as much chaos as possible. So the thing is on that, like I said, half of it, so it's meant to look like a mob, right? Like, oh, it's just a bunch of angry Trump supporters and they're just getting out of control. But I guarantee you, in that mob were some committed operatives who specifically went in with specific goals. And what I think the goal was because we saw those people with the zip ties and stuff, and they brought up a freaking, like, what do you call it? A noose, the thing that holds the noose. I mean, it's like, oh, it was a prop. No, they were planning to do some stuff. Their plan was to cause chaos in the Capitol, get in, seize control of Congress, and then have the Republicans who were on their side and Mike Pence basically declare him president. They were going to say, we, don't think these are valid votes. We think that the votes are for Trump, and we declared him president. That's what was supposed to happen. But everyone wants to pretend like, oh, it was just some people. They were just over, these Trump supporters were just getting out of control. No, the crowd was a cover for these operatives to go in and do that. That's what was supposed to happen. That's why he delayed as much as possible. So the other thing is, when he was in the tent before the thing, gloating, him and his daughters and, his son and all these people were gloating. Like, the reason they were gloating was because this was their plan, and they're getting excited because they're going to become the first royal empire family of America. That's what was supposed to happen. Okay, so they were supposed to, these operatives were supposed to go in there, tie up the Democrats and whatever Republican enemies, the Republican Congress members that were, gonna, object to the ballots and all that. They were supposed to get up there and say, yeah, Trump's the president. Mike Pence was supposed to declare, yeah, Trump's the president. And then once they declare it, then, then everything's in play, right? Then it's a mass chaos, right? But luckily their plan failed. And with the Capitol Police, it was a problem because, like, just on the side of being supportive of Trump, they're just like, come on in, people, come on in. Oh, have a look around, get your energy out. You want to do a selfie? Okay, are y'all done yet? Okay, great. Okay, come on out. Hope you had a good time. Come back again. I mean, anyone we're all like, what is this double standard? No, I realized this is deeper than the double standard. This was all part of a plot, okay? And so the double standard and them being lenient, that was just cover story of the plot, right? Another part of this plot that's going to be coming out soon, which is that they found a pipe bomb at the DNC and the RNC. Those were supposed to be distractions. So imagine if I already know he got with these people. He got with some ex-military people and the militia people, and this was the plan. We're going to set off these bombs, distract whatever little security is left. They're going to run over there. We're going to go take over Congress, tie up the Democrats and whatever rebel Republicans. We're going to declare Trump the president. Then our, supporters will be there to protect the Capitol. And then, while the chaos reigns, who's president, right? That was the plan. I mean, I think it's kind of a stupid plan. I don't think it would have worked in the long run, but it would have been amazing. Like, it would have been the first coup attempt in U.S. history. I mean, it was. That's what it was. He just failed at it. And that's why they were gloating, and that's why he was watching TV to see, is this going to work? People underestimate his ruthlessness, man, and his evilness. I mean, this guy is like something supernatural, man. I mean, he acts like, but he knows exactly what he's doing, and it ain't over. This is going to continue. So obviously, and I don't know if Pence was on it or not. I don't know if Pence knew or suspected or what, or maybe when Pence saw that the plan wasn't happening, because I heard like, he was kind of whisked out of there, and other members of Congress are like, what's going on? So I don't know if he knew. And when he saw that the plot wasn't working out, he kind of, backed out and said, okay, I'll approve him. I'll approve Biden as the president. But I don't know if he was part of the plot or not, but I know that's what I believe was supposed to happen. Trump is so snarky, man. I mean, his evil is like, it's in your face and you don't even realize it's happening. I mean, man, if Trump was robbing your house, he'd come and knock on the door and he'd say, oh, could I have a cup of coffee? And then he'd sneak in your house. And then while he's having a cup of coffee with you, he'd be like, well, I'm gonna just take this TV. This is my TV. And you're like, no, it's not your TV. It's like, oh yeah, this is my TV, all right. And he would just be kind of, while he's smiling at you, doing all this evil stuff. His friends would show up and start doing stuff. And you're like, what's going on? I mean, that's basically what he's doing here. So his cover story was basically, I got it, they got excited, and I should have told him to go home. So when he saw that the plot had failed, when Pence did not declare him president, then it was about putting in the cover story so that he could get away with it and no one would realize. So it was like, oh, you guys need to go home, you beautiful people. And then later it was like, oh, you shouldn't have been doing the violence. People are like, what's he doing? He's so horrible. But the thing is that was all just a cover story of the plot, right? He's just thinking, dang, I'm glad they didn't realize what I was really trying to do. Like, that's what's really going on. So, what else? Watch my word, man. This will be uncovered in maybe within a month. The FBI is going to do investigations, and it's going to come out, what really happened, how deep this really went. And it's not over yet. He's still going to keep trying. He's going to keep attacking. So I heard on the 17th, I mean, has he ever stopped? Has anything ever stopped him? No, nothing's going to freaking stop him. He won't stop until he is actually physically stopped, which is why they need to impeach him and get him out of office absolutely immediately. And they had these Air Force people. I mean, when I saw those people in there with the zip ties and stuff, I'm like, okay, this is way deeper. And then the leniency that the security gave to the invaders, I was like, what is going on? So I'm not saying all the Capitol Police were in on it, but I think the leadership was giving orders in such a way to make them as lenient as possible. I thought initially that it was like, well, they don't want to inflame the situation, because I've seen other protests in Hong Kong and stuff, and they knew that if they use more lethal or dramatic response, then it will just embolden the protests. And I thought that's kind of what was going on. But when I saw those interior shots of them, it was like a freaking medieval castle siege, and that dude was stuck between the door and they're crushing him, and they're just like, I'm like, what the hell is this? This is like some evil crap from the medieval times. I'm like, they got a freaking noose thing out there. I was like, wow, this is, how did they haul that giant wooden thing up there? How's that even possible? They were so organized and stuff that they could make that, what was it called? A gallows. They made a wooden gallows and somehow shipped it in and brought it all the way up to the steps. How is that even possible? Is anyone talking about this? And it just sort of passed off as, it was a prop for their protest. It wasn't a freaking prop. Let's go through the scenario if the plot has succeeded. This is how it was supposed to go down. Trump sends his supporters over there. They push through the security. There's hardly any security. They get into the thing, and then, they catch the Congress people in session. They break through. They zip tie and basically hold hostage all the leaders, Pelosi and them. Maybe they were going to kill them. Maybe they were going to just, kidnap them. I don't know. And then they were going to have their members declare, these are the valid votes. Trump won. Pence was going to get up there. I declare Trump the president, And then maybe when the military and the response came, they were going to do a hostage thing or something and start executing people or whatever. That would have got him a lot of support. Yeah, right. But, with Trump, you never know, man. The stuff he does, you think, oh, this is crazy, but you just never know what's going to freaking happen. And you think, oh, surely the military wouldn't support this. But now we're finding out that like there's infiltration in the police, there's infiltration in the military. I mean, there was a freaking Air Force colonel over there doing a thing. And even now, people are still like, well, they're being arrested for trespassing. I mean, this is freaking treason, man. Like, these people were taking over the government. This was a coup attempt. Thank God it failed. But right now, today, we'd be frightened. That would be day one of the Civil War. Unbelievable. Some Democrats are responding appropriately. I think Pelosi is like, yeah, this guy is like out to get us. We need to get him. But a lot of people, especially in the Republican side, are just like, well, and Ted Cruz and all them, they're crying because they were like, dang, I was going to be part of that new empire. That's what they're thinking. It was Confederacy 2.0, and that would have been day one of the new Civil War. And then they would have called we would have had defections from the military onto, it'd just be a mess. If they had pulled that off. I mean, maybe they haven't released the details because they don't want to shock people how bad it is yet. But that's what I think actually went down. And they need to get rid of those people. Everyone who participated needs to be arrested and fired immediately. And the guy who, I haven't researched it, but whoever was the leadership over the security that day was obviously in on it. So that's all I got to say, really. I've been thinking about this since my last video, as more information has come out, and so I just wanted to say that today. It's really interesting what's happening. But know this, he's going to try again. He's going to make another attempt. The 17th, I hear, and Twitter and them were good to ban his butt because he's going to try to rally his troops. They've retreated, they're going to regroup, and they're going to attack again on the 17th. So he ain't going to stop. He ain't going to stop. On the inauguration, he's going to attack again. He's just going to keep attacking. I mean, they're going to literally have to freaking tackle his butt and drag his butt out of the White House. I mean, it's just, people don't realize what this dude is like. I mean, it's like, I guess they're just in denial. They just can't believe it instead of responding to the threat appropriately. So, anyway, that's all I got to say in the situation. I'm out.